Arkansas plays possibly the ugliest 15 minutes of offensive basketball in the history of basketball, but goes on to defeat Missouri, ranked 20th in the country, by the way, defeat Missouri by a score of 74-68. This is Arkansas Basketball Recap. I'm Daniel Price. That's Jacob Price breaking it all down. Tell you what, when we were down 17, I didn't feel good about that game. I thought we were about to get blown out because we just didn't look like we had it. I mean, our defense was fine-ish, during that, but man, this is a problem that maybe, and this is a question, did they find the solution? Did Musselman listen to the show and realize that if you put Pinion in the corner and run action to his side, it actually doesn't matter if he shoots or not? Which, by the way, he did shoot.
Yeah, he must have. That's the only explanation.
Because I mean, this is weird. Like, Council went off the second half, and that's a big part. But whatever reason, we just started making everything. But we just started getting downhill. But when Pinion went in the game in the first half, everything changed. Because dude, did you see how they were playing a 2-3? Yeah, not a 2-3 that I've ever played.
No,
they were playing starting at the free throw line.
That's what we said this last time. They weren't playing. They were playing a five guys in the middle.
Yeah,
that's what it. And yeah, like having Pena in there, in the corner. That's when you did start to see. It's not that he Council. It started with him.
Dude, it just creates a little bit of space, dude. It was just a little bit of space.
Well, and even the way he actually got going was his first couple of things were from the free throw line. And by the way, his free throw shooting changed that game. But he was able to, before, where he was driving and the guy was just coming over, and then there's all of a sudden just two guys in front of you. This at least made it where he could get deep enough that when he went to make that Euro step kind of drop step move, the other guy was recovering, and instead of getting charges, he was getting tied up, and it was just ugly fouls. You know what I mean? And some of them he actually got the shot up, but
it made it a little bit soft in the middle, like in the like sort of at the elbow, because that guy was staying out. So Diva was pulling up and hitting mid-range jump shots from Pinion's side, because there's a little soft spot right there because that guy wasn't going to leave. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, obviously Ricky Council is the player of this game. He probably, but dude, they don't win this game if Joseph Pinion doesn't go in there and change that defense.
Yeah, and Pinion, to Pinion's credit, he had a couple of chances when he first got in where they obviously ran the ball to him, and he shot and he missed him. He was a little bit too jacked up. And to his credit, he didn't let that get too much in his head, and he worked hard on the other aspects. He got some rebounds. His first bucket, I think, was a rebound putback. He got a couple of rebounds, which you wouldn't expect, and he played hard on defense.
But I mean, little stuff like when they gave Kamani that jump ball on Kobe Brown, really pivotal part of the game. Kobe Brown came in and Kamani tied him up. But the reason Kamani was able to tie him up is because Pinion got his hand on that ball first, so that ball was still low enough. Just little things like that, dude, where you're like, you're doing the right things. It's the right things. It's positive stuff.
And then
diving on the floor.
You do, but even that, you do the right things, and we talk about the basketball gods, and it's like he got rewarded by putting out effort, and then he got a couple of looks that went down, and even like you said, taking advantage of your opportunity. That, I mean, obviously, I think the most pivotal point in the game was when he dove on the floor and got that ball, and it turned into a dunk for Council. It just got everybody hyped up, and then I think shortly after that, he hit that three in that guy's face.
Yeah, well, you can see that he hit two, and then that confidence was built up, and that's what we did. If he'll do that, if he'll pull that shot, then that's what you're talking about, because that was right in some dude's grill.
Mm-hmm. Well, and actually, I mean, you would say, like I said, that guy was up on him, but it was hand down, man down, and it's because they had gotten so used to playing such soft defense. I mean, that would have been terrible defense on for most teams, if you said this is this team's 3-point shooter, that's bad defense.
Mhm.
But you get so used to these guys just bricking threes that was like the best defense they'd shot on all night. But but even when Pinion dove on the floor that time, like I said, he that probably should have been a foul.
Mhm.
He ran out there to try to get that steal, bumped that guy pretty good, knocked him down, and even Pena went like, "Oh no!" And then the whistle didn't blow, and he was like, "All right," and he just and instead of just like staying there, like he just the ball was loose, and he just jumped on it full board, and was able to have a little bit of um they say, I mean, good luck is when, preparation meets opportunity, and he got his opportunity, and he was able to take advantage of it. And it wasn't even like I said, wasn't simple. You could imagine a version where he goes in there and hits those first two shots, and
Mhm.
it's easy, but he had to work for his moment of glory, and maybe that I think it did change. I mean, honestly, looking back, it's like I do not know how
The
we won
first
that
15
game.
minutes, first 15 minutes seems like a different game a long time ago.
Well, and it's not just that, like you said, we got down by like the first 10 minutes were bad, and I think we were losing by like, 5 to 8 points, and I was going, "Okay, we cannot get down by anymore. We gotta figure this out." And because you can't come back on a team if you can't shoot.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I was looking at the way that offense was running, and I was going, "You can't down by more than 10. If you get down by more than 10, you'll never come back." I don't
Mhm.
even know how we're gonna score. We got 5 points in the first 9 minutes. And then, um, the you know, then it got I mean, and then just it got worse and worse, and by the time they hit 17 points, I was like, "I can't see any way that this group of guys is going to be able to overcome 17 points." And honestly, they really I mean, they did, but they chipped away at it in such a way, and it was a lot of a thing that's going to get lost in the Pinion playing well, and Council playing well in the second half is Jordan Walsh
Yeah.
second chance. I mean, if and like I said, it didn't feel good because we were still, we'd pull it within 10, and then they'd score a bunch, and we'd be down by 15 again, and then we'd pull it within 9, and then they'd get it back to 16. I was like, but dude, if he doesn't keep making those little one man, put back 4 points here, 3 points there they're up by
Mhm.
like 25, you know what I mean? And his effort and really all of their effort, but
I
like,
mean, we out rebounded them 23 to 40.
yeah, I mean, and they were
Uh,
talking about the whole time. It was the only reason we were scoring at all. In fact, I mean, that was actually, I was getting, I went through all the stages of, fan grief there. Started out with anger, and I was like, I can't believe they didn't listen. Like they were they not practicing against a zone? They looked so lost and so confused. And I know it's not the same as being out there, 'cause, I mean, I've played against a lot of zones, but like I think I can't remember if this is in conversations with other people because I talked to Kevin about this a lot, and or if I said it on the podcast. But like, if you didn't grow up playing zone, you don't have a feel for zone, and it looks like these guys have never. None of these guys played zone because from the top down view that we have, you can see when they're passing the ball,
mhm.
like where the other players should be moving. And in a zone, you can't pass, and then look for it. It's the cutters that you're going to be passing to have to be moving while the ball's coming. And then when they catch the ball and it swings, they have to already be there. If they're not there, it's too late.
Mhm.
And you could sit there and you could look and you're like, why is he standing there? But get through there. I mean, even the announcers said it a bunch of times. They're like, man, they
Yeah.
really need to be somebody cutting. And like I said, I know down on the floor, you mostly just see like hands. You don't see these wide open spaces in the corner and stuff. But I was, and then I went from anger to depression because I was like, oh my God, this team they can't shoot. How can they not be able to shoot? It's 2023. Like, I go up to the community center, and like all the kids up there can hit these shots, like, and I mean at a high rate, at like 50%. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I was like, recruit Nick. Nick will hit that open shot. He shoots more than 50% that wide open, and he shoots pretty high percentage guarded and from deep. I'm like, how can we have 5 players on the floor in this day and age that can't hit an open shot. It's crazy. And then, luckily this rant comes in the wake of them figuring it out. But man, that first half, I was just like, I cannot believe is this the whole season? Like we're not gonna,
Yeah,
and
yeah, because it gets scary. Because honestly, it's hard to score in a zone if you can't shoot at all. I mean, a zone is the right defense to play if a team just straight up can't shoot. But if they
well,
have one, but if you've got even one guy that's like a shooter, not a guy that can make them, like a shooter, it doesn't work.
and like you said, there are ways to break down a zone where you don't shoot because a lot of teams, there's
I
a
don't
lot
know,
of
man.
guys that are
When
just
it's
like,
packed in like that, you better be able to hit mid range jump shots. I mean, there was just nothing in there, dude.
yeah, that's true. When it's backed in like that,
I
you
mean,
do
I've
have to at
never I've
least
never played a zone that packed in. I played a lot of zone growing up. We never played it that packed in. That's crazy.
yeah. And like you said, when we talked about, or I talked about this with somebody, but like you have to have really good passers. And we have okay passers. Those guys are all decent basketball players. We don't have anybody that's like sick passing. You know what I mean? Like that just like drops dimes on everybody. And we don't even have Jalen Williams. Like even he would
Mhm.
be better as far as like getting at the top of the key. I mean, getting at the post and he can make a little jump shot or pass the ball. But those guys, you have to make the passes so fast when the defense and it really is hard when like you saw a couple of times Jordan Walsh would catch it at like the free throw line. And the idea is if the shot's there, you shoot it, but then they'd come over and then he goes to pass it to the cutting Devo or something. It's like there's three guys between him
Mhm.
and like
Yeah.
the paint pass. You know what I mean? So
I mean, the amount of times that Arkansas had the ball with a wide open three and didn't take it, which I mean, I wasn't upset they didn't take it because they weren't shooting well at all. But you're like, that's crazy to watch.
in this day and age, I mean, honestly, that actually is kind of amazing. I mean, because
And
that
by the way,
the point,
our whole team is built a certain way. Like we have our players individually are better than Missouri's. They're more athletic. They're built for basketball. They're just not like that's not the only shooting threes is not the only thing in basketball. And those guys are good at like basically everything else but that. And we had a guy, Trevor Brazile could shoot some threes. Nick Smith can shoot some threes. They're not there. And I mean, Musk said this in the post game, just on TV, where he's just like we built our offense around the idea that there's going to be two guys here that aren't here. We are trying to figure out what it is now, and so I think that's fair. Like we spent a bunch of time building an offense with some guys that we thought were going to be on the floor that aren't here.
yeah. I'm here to tell you though, they better keep working on it in practice because
What do you think? Do you think
if
Pinion going to see the floor more? Did he play
yeah,
well enough?
yeah, I think he is going to see the floor more. I mean, it'll depend a little bit on obviously the matchups personnel wise. I mean, there's a version of a team where
Mm-hmm.
there's no one for him to guard. Tonight there was a couple of guys that were
And
sized and
Pinion's not a small guy. I mean, he's 6'5". Like, I mean, he's not. I mean, he's built. Like, he's got a good body for basketball for sure. I mean, he.
yeah, you can tell he's not as fast as
Mm-hmm.
some of he either needs a slightly the fact that the problem is there's just not that many 6'5" slow guys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're 6'5", you're
And
in
Pinion's not
Division One
slow,
basketball.
but you're talking about playing against some really quick guys, probably.
It's better for him to play like that guy tonight that he was guarding. He was guarding two different guys, but the guy was faster than him, but he was bigger than like I don't know how tall that guy was, but he
Yeah,
was
Pinion had him by a few inches though.
yeah, and that's helpful. You can recover.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw
Yeah.
that a bunch of times. The guy would go not right by him, but like get him in on his shoulder and then couldn't quite trust the layup because Pinion was long, and then he'd have to do a couple of pivots. And yeah, a few guys did score. A few of the bigger guys did score on Pinion like that. But yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
I mean, if you look at Pinion's stat line, yeah, he played 27 minutes. He was 4 of 7, 3 of 6 from downtown. He hit 3 of 6 threes, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 1 rebound, 1 steal, 0 turnovers, 4 fouls. So he was trying.
mhm.
So it's pretty good, right? I mean, I think the 0 turnovers is good too. I mean, that bodes well. Like he didn't turn the ball over for you or anything, and had some plays that really mattered. I think that, yeah, I think he. I mean, we'll see how Muss is a rewarding kind of guy. I would be surprised if we didn't see him get another shot anyway.
Well, and it was
Especially if a team
super.
comes. By the way, especially if a team comes out in zone, you might see them get out there
Well,
quick.
they will, dude. They will. I mean, I'm telling you, if I was a team that watched that game, I'm not going to be dissuaded in any way by a 4-point victory that, like, I mean, that was a 2-point ball game with less than a minute with 30 seconds left. And
Yeah,
um and like you said, we hit a bucket load of 17 to 15 foot jump shots.
yeah.
If I'm a team playing us, I'm letting us not letting us, but I'm going to live and die with us shooting 17-foot jump shots, Devo, all those guys versus Council coming down the lane and tomahawk dunking it around a guy or something like that. I'm not and even with Pinion, I think that I mean, that was a wrinkle that I'm not saying they didn't expect, but that we hadn't even done before really, not for any length of time anyway. And if I'm one of those guys, another coach, I've been looking at that guy and I'm just going to plan a little bit. And if it were me, and I was glad Missouri didn't do this, but I would try to abuse him a little bit more on defense.
Hmm.
I would,
They tried
I
to
would,
some for sure, but not. I mean, they didn't make a point. I mean,
dude,
Arkansas's team defense is so good. It is hard to take advantage of a mismatch against Arkansas. Like their help is fast.
yeah,
I mean, I guess we should say that. I mean, our defense was great. I mean, that's the one. I mean, we won the game because we were only around to win. We came back because Pinion came in the game. He hit some shots, softened up the zone. Council went off, but they had
and
to
they,
play. They had to play crazy defense in
I
order
was
to
gonna say,
give
man,
this to
yeah,
create the space for a run.
Missouri's offense completely stalled out, and it was because of that defense. I mean, there's just no way
Well, dude,
around.
you're talking about a team that's averaging. I mean, they scored 90 points on Kentucky. They just beat Illinois and scored 80 something points. I mean, they're averaging 86 points a game or something crazy. So you
Kentucky
hold them to
just beat
68.
LSU,
Yeah.
right?
Dude, you got to get up in the SEC, dude. There ain't no gimmies. I mean, Georgia just beat Auburn.
That's why this game was so huge, so big, dude. Like and this is another thing. I mean, I don't feel great about Arkansas after this game. I gotta tell you, like, I'm so glad that we won and it was so big because, I mean, we were talking about this earlier today, but going into we've got 3 games in a row against ranked teams. Not
Yeah.
that that even matters at this point, because it seems like every team I look at in the SEC, their record is like they got like 9 to 10 wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, some of those maybe not matter, but it doesn't seem like there's really a terrible team. And
It's supposed to be
y-
Georgia. So, I mean, so they're supposed to be terrible.
and you can't be losing games at home because
No.
this can be tough with this team and the way they shoot and the way crowd. I mean, dude, I think, and that's another thing. I'll give our crowds.
Oh, I thought the
Uh,
crowd was
uh,
great.
they helped us a lot, dude. They got pissed when we were playing like garbage and they were like booing, and it was kind of like booing the team, the ref, just the whole like, hey, what the hell is going on here, guys?
Hmm.
You're better than 8 points in a 10-minute span of basketball. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And to their credit though, like the second, I mean, they got up like we just took the lead just when we got like a defensive stop and got the ball
Oh,
going the
dude,
other way. You know what I
When
mean?
Pinion hit his first three,
Mhm.
you'd have thought that like we'd have just won the game or something.
But
Because
and
it was like
but bef-
fine, like finally, like okay, maybe this plan is gonna work.
yeah, but even before that though, like to bring us to keep us from getting buried, they gave I give it's the players get 90% of the credit for hustle, but like the crowd was rewarding them for their
Mm,
energy plays when they went in and got a rebound and a putback. They went crazy, even though we were down 14 points still. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And that was definitely helpful to keep those guys, focused on energy and playing hard. They got rewarded by the crowd for, maximum effort. And that, I mean, that is the symbiotic relationship between the crowd and, you know, the
Mm.
players on the court. That's why you get a home court advantage. But I am terrified for this team playing teams on the road because I don't know how they're going to beat good teams on the road with that kind of shooting. It's just,
Yeah.
and like I said, they don't appear to have figured out zone. They threw
Maybe they did.
Pinion.
Maybe they did the second half. I mean, they got started going. They put a shooter in the corner and they started going downhill, and that's one way to do it.
Maybe that corner space was just enough, but I just know that like watching the game before against LSU, they took a lot of those same shots, a lot of those mid-range shots, and they just
Yeah,
boinked off the back of the rim.
yeah. The shots are easier at
And
home.
yeah, and it, tonight they started going in and they kept going in long enough to win a game. You know what I mean?
Mm.
By two with 30 seconds to go. That's not a lot, but there was enough things broke our way. And but two or three of those doink out and you're in a totally different ball game. And
but don't you also like, let me put this point out there, and then I want to get into a little bit of this roster breakdown. Um, at the same time, though, you are talking about having to come back from 17 down, and so you switch something, you made a change, you put you put a shooter out there, you end up starting in the second half, and you when you made that change, you're in a 17-point hole. And so you do have to wonder if they had come out with that same strategy, if you're talking about being, and I don't know if you're in that kind of game.
yeah, maybe. Um, like I said, I just worry about a team. Arkansas needs to get maximum guaranteed buckets, and by that I mean Council dunking it, and
Mhm.
Devo laying it up to the Mitchell twins. Like we need easy buckets for energy, for getting those
Mhm.
guys in the flow. Because what happened in that first half is when you start out that clunky, you could tell. I mean, you can even the shots that they were missing in the second half, the flow was so much better. Like
Yeah.
they looked so stilted and rigid in the first half,
Other than Devo
and
trying to bounce past an angle past a Pinion in the corner when you should just chest pass it to him, dude. He's just standing there ready to shoot. I don't know what you're doing.
but even that was like we were going on a little bit of like Pinion had
Mhm.
come in and they had settled into a little bit of a flow. I'm talking about the first
Yeah.
15 minutes
Yeah.
where they just looked like garbage. And it did reflect itself in even though they still played pretty good defense, although I mean this is reflected in I think they said Ricky Council had an 18-point deficit in the first half
Dude,
as far as like
Ricky Council played. He played 31 minutes this game, but I mean, he didn't start the second half, and he got pulled. And I mean, he didn't play well the first half.
no, and I'm not saying that differential wasn't all his fault, but the they were so disjointed on their offensive side that I mean, and you have to play basketball to understand like you cannot help. I mean, it's part of calling, like you said, we always talk about flow or energy or being in the rhythm of the game, but it's also just your mind is foggy and you're having to actually work consciously to not think about how bad what you did on the offense and
Yeah.
how bad that is. And it's a thorn in your subconscious that you're going, we've got to go do that again here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to steal this ball. But then what the hell am I gonna do on that? It's like, what the fuck is going on over there? Sorry, don't mean to swear, but I'm just saying you might have to bleep that out. Uh, but I'm just saying you are thinking like, what is going on? And it does distract you on defense. Like
Yeah.
you're not clear minded. I mean, I would just say you could tell even on defense, they weren't flowing on defense, and
Mm-hmm.
it was their offense was the reason Missouri didn't play that much worse in the second half. Our defense was just a little bit better.
Yeah.
We played bad on offense and defense there for a little bit of a run, and the things were not disconnected, is what I'm saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was going, I mean, I was yelling at my TV, but I'm like, Muss, I know this team is like a defensive juggernaut, but you can't play defense if you're this ugly on so ugly on offense that you're like out there, you're embarrassed. You're like, you know what I mean? Like
Were
you're
you asking for Pinion as one before you went in?
yeah, I was asking for Pinion 3 days ago, but you could tell like you just don't have. a lot of defense is about mojo.
Yeah.
And I mean, offense is too. But when you're playing that, when you're getting humiliated on offense, you don't have the mojo. You know what I mean? On defense, it's very hard to slap the floor and be like, come on, bring it. When you just pass the ball around like a bunch of morons for the whole shot clock, and then somebody jacked it up and then a buzzer and you shot clock violation anyway. Like you feel like such a jerk
Yeah.
that it's, you know what I mean? It's just that you don't have like a swagger. So um anyway, like they managed to force that swagger. I mean, and like I said, I do think it helped that at least Pinion came in, and even like I said, Devo had some stupid plays, but like he hit plenty of
Hmm.
tough shots, and
Yeah.
his defense was great. Um, didn't really like him pushing that guy, even though I did, he definitely got shoved, but it didn't end up really hurting us that bad. But it,
It looked like Devo was going to go after a ref. And
yeah,
of all people, Kamani stops him. Look at Kamani coming in with a cooler head.
how
Yeah.
much did their star player ended up having? Because we did hold him down, it seemed
Oh
like.
yeah, yeah. We were all up in his business, and no, so yeah, Kobe Brown ends up with 11 points. Yeah, he's had back to back. I mean, he had 30 against Kentucky, or 30 against Kentucky, and 30 against Illinois. Yeah, so it's not bad. So we basically played seven guys. I mean, Mackay, Jordan Walsh, Anthony Black, Ricky Council, Devo Davis. They start. Kamani Johnson gets 20 minutes off the bench. Pinion plays for 27 minutes. No, that's unexpected. 27 minutes for him. Even at the end there, he just took him out and started going offense, defense with him and Kamani. Where he's like, put Kamani in, put Joseph in.
Okay,
Um,
wait, I gotta say that last negative thing I'll say. The Hogs still tried to lose that game in the last 2 minutes by there was like four possessions in a row where all we had to do was like hit a bucket, like wind the clock down and hit one of these buckets or get a foul.
mhm.
And they took they went back. That's like, did you forget about this at first half? This is
Yeah,
how you ended up there. Like just I mean, I think it was two threes and a charge. It was like,
yeah.
and the charge was literally 1 on 3. And it's like
Was he looking for Pinion in the corner there and he just didn't get, he tried to gather it to kick it and he just got someone
when
got their hand on it or what?
yeah, I mean that guy got his hand on it, definitely tied him up and made him not. I don't know but he looked to me like he was attacking the basket,
Yeah, yeah.
which but and then
Well,
Pinion like Pinion's trying to do everything right. Pinion gets a wide open look, but it's too early in the shot clock, so he kicks it out, which is
yeah,
the
dude,
right thing to do.
I don't know. Like, dude, you might shoot that. Like, dude, it's like, I'm like, is it like, I need to, no, I'm gonna take 4 more seconds off and take
Well,
a shot that you
no,
have no chance. Like, you're gonna
he
throw, someone's just gonna throw something up. Come on, man. If you're like wide open, I don't know, maybe you pull that.
he didn't think he was going to pass it to Devo, and Devo was going to immediately go attack three guys. But
No,
I mean, I think it literally was within the first 5 seconds. It was still like
yeah,
24 seconds or something. It
yeah,
was really early, and um, I think it was probably the right thing to do at that time to swing the ball because, like I said, if you miss, it's a really stupid
but
shot.
he was
And
wide open though, dude.
yeah, he was.
I mean,
But
wide
I
open.
mean, sometimes the shooters though, like, and I felt like that maybe with his first two shots. Sometimes for shooters, that could be, you know how it is when you're guarding
Yeah,
a real good shooter. Sometimes if you leave them wide open, they don't know what to. They're like, what, and they're not in rhythm.
yeah,
Whereas they're used to shooting with a guy coming out at them. I mean,
yeah,
obviously there's distance, but like sometimes they or when they're so wide open, they're worse percentage.
yeah. Real quick before
We
we,
certainly were today. I mean,
yeah.
good lord.
Hey, Opinion helped us. We got up to 28.6% on threes. We hit 6 of 21. Half of those were Pinion. Um, so Mackay plays 15 minutes. I thought he played pretty good in those 15 minutes. He had 15 minutes. He had 7 rebounds, 8 points. Thought he played good.
Yeah, you got to
Jordan
guard their
Walsh.
best player a little bit.
Yeah, Jordan Walsh played 26 minutes, got in a little bit of foul trouble. He ends up with 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 6 points. Anthony Black plays 40 minutes, plays the whole game. He ends up with 6 points and 1 block, 1 steal, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. I'd like to see him be more offensively aggressive, but he played well, played really good defense. Council plays 31 minutes, has 25 points, gets 7 rebounds, has an assist, has a block. Davis plays 38 minutes. He has 10 points, 3 steals, 5 rebounds. So he played well. And then Joseph Pinion had 13 points, had a steal, had a rebound. And then Kamani Johnson plays 20 minutes, has 5 points and 8 rebounds in 20 minutes. That's pretty good. I thought Kamani played really well. By the way, I thought Kamani was actually, there was a time where Kamani was on the bench and he came back in, and I thought he made an immediate difference. He was just annoying, and just getting rebounds. When you look at and bringing this up, like when you look at the rebound team, we had 40 rebounds, but when you look at the breakdown, Mackay has 7, Walsh has 7, Black has 2, Council has 7, Davis has 5, Kamani Johnson has 8, Pinion has 1. The whole team was rebounding. It wasn't just like one guy had 16 rebounds or something. Like everybody was rebounded.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing too, because I mean, like I said, how many more shots did we take than them? Did we take more shots than them?
We finished 26 of 54 for 48%, which by the way is good. Especially considering the hole we were in the first half. They were 24 of 54 for 44%. So we actually took the exact same amount of shots. Yep.
How does that work? Did we turn the ball over a lot more than they did?
They had 10 turnovers. We had 17 turnovers. There you go.
That's the difference. I was like,
yeah,
I was gonna say, like, there's got to be a differential in there somewhere if we out rebounded them by that much.
Yeah,
but
that's it. That's the key right there. Man, also Jalen Graham's leash continues to be the shortest leash ever. I can't even figure out, like, did he even have time to do anything, like, right or wrong? I don't know. Like, it was.
I know, and I was looking for a spark too. I was like, man, do something, hit it, dunk it, hit a 3,
He played
shoot
for
it, like
he played for 2 minutes, recorded no stats, didn't take a shot, didn't foul anyone, didn't do nothing. Like, I don't know.
I saw him set a screen.
There you go. Set a screen. I don't know. Like, he threw. I don't know. Like, I don't know what is going on with Jalen Graham. It's the shortest leash I've ever seen.
Well, and especially when, like, with Walsh being in foul trouble, like this is another reason. It was a good thing Pinion did do well, because we needed some subs. And I mean, we could have used a few more, obviously, but I mean, with Black playing the whole game, but like that's the other thing about this team, is that the reason I'm starting to get very trepidatious about our prospects, because I just don't know if Smith is going to come back.
Yeah, well,
And
and they broke that news that he's not even there. He's like seeing some specialist somewhere, which tells me that he's very much trying to come back. Like, he's trying to get this thing under control, but like also it doesn't sound great.
Well, like you said though, if he's not, I don't know how much he's practicing or how aggressively he's practicing. But even still, there's a totally different thing with games. Like
Yeah.
he needs 2 to 4 full games of action to even hope to settle in and get his cardio to where it needs to be, game speed. And who knows when he's coming back. So like even then, it's like you don't expect him to come back and just. I mean, we already saw what happens when he comes back. Like, he comes back and he's going to have to work his way into the game. And I think he obviously has the talent to be a great player, but he's going to have to get some minutes under his belt. And you're starting to get to the point where you're like, okay, this seems like this is the team we're going to have to win with at least. And then he could be a bonus
Yeah,
if he
maybe
comes back later.
maybe you get him back late in the season. You get him for the conference tournament. You get him for March. I mean, by the way, I'll take it. I mean,
Yeah.
right now I'm afraid we're not going to see him at all. So I definitely take that. But yeah, I think you're right. And yeah, the question is, like, how many minutes can Black and Devo and Council log?
Well, at the kind of pace and with the style that we're playing, it's like we've talked about this at nauseum.
Dude, he's 18 years old, dude. Anthony can do it.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying they can't. I mean, they are young and they can recover their muscles and stuff, but excuse me, but like fatigue, over a course of a season, like it's a real thing. Like your
Yeah.
body will break down.
But
Your
just over
ankles
the
will give
course of a
out.
game, if you're just in a dogfight game, I mean, so another team's playing 9 guys, and you got 2 guys that haven't come off the floor, and you're in the last 3 minutes of a game. I mean, there's something there.
Or overtime. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, well, and the other thing is, it is practical. I mean, it's the most obvious thing to say, but like practically speaking, playing that tight of a rotation and making your calling card defense, so everyone has to play super hard. It's not like you're in some
Mhm.
lackadaisical 3-point shooting offense and you're just trying to outscore people so you can jog up the court all the time. You're in the defensive stance the whole game, and then, you know, there's injuries to worry about. There's sickness, like somebody's going to get the flu, or just
Mhm.
like on some, it is like some nights you might just have a little bug, or you didn't eat right, or your energy resources are not allocated in the best way, and you feel more tired than you're used to. And you know what I mean? You don't have the get up and go at the end of the game. Like, it's a good way to lose games eventually. I mean, also, somebody's going to get in foul trouble.
But Muss
Two
also,
two
this
somebodies are
also,
going to get in foul
it's
trouble.
also not like this is the first time Muss has done this. He does this. He always does this.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, I mean, I mean, he played 9 guys today, but he really played 7
mhm.
because Jalen Graham played for 2 minutes. I think Makai Mitchell played like, or Mikael Mitchell played 1 or something. But so I mean, he played 7, and but that's about what he did last year.
Yeah, well, no, we've done this every year, and I mean, like I said, I will defer to his. I mean, his record speaks for itself, but it's as a fan, I
Hey,
have felt like
last game he played like 5 guys.
I was gonna say, but I felt
he
the
did.
same
He
way
did.
every
He
year
did.
too.
He did. With Kamani and Pinion, maybe that is his bench. Maybe like that's what it's going to be. And because against LSU, it was worse, man. Like I mean, all those starters were playing 37 minutes or whatever. And if this is what we got until Nick Smith comes, maybe Pinion's a guy that can get you 20 minutes a game, and you can you can do a little subbing in and out, and you get Kamani and Makai switching out, and it. I mean, because I was freaked out. I'm like, what, you gonna play 6 guys, dude? Kamani's gonna get 15 minutes a game. You're just gonna play the other 5 guys like the whole game. If we have 4 guys
Mhm.
playing the whole game, and then Mikel um, and Kamani are just splitting the post spot, and that's it. Like it's. I hope Pinion sticks around. We need him just to have a guy coming off the bench.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you're right about he does do this every year, but also it gives me a heart attack every year,
Yeah.
and it does seem like we always have we had this certainly last year, and I believe we had it the year before too, where one of our guys does go down with an
Mm-hmm.
injury or a cold or something, and we lose a couple of games
Yeah.
because we got no man to spare.
Yeah. It happened with
But
Isaiah Joe. It happened with JD. Yeah, getting sick, and yeah.
and it happened.
So
It actually happened the year before that too, briefly with oh, I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
yeah.
his first year.
So who? By the way, so we'll end with this. Who is your player of the game in a tough game to decide?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably give it to Pinion. I mean, I don't know if Council has a chance to play well if Pinion doesn't come in and keep that game from getting
Yeah.
completely out of hand. And by keep, I mean, you know, get the crowd some energy,
I mean, he did have
you know.
13. He had 13 points. I mean, I think it wasn't just that he was a threat to shoot. He did, in fact, shoot.
Yeah, and like I said, I do think that a lot of what he did out there wasn't uh directly attributable to him in the stat sheet. Like,
Mm-hmm.
half a step makes a huge is the difference between a charge and a foul. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And that guy having to be one step closer makes a difference that is sort of intangible, you know?
Yeah. He was second in team in scoring after rookie council, by the way. So there's that. Yeah, good game for him. I'm sure he's excited for him. Because you're also worried about like, dude, this day and age, you're like, hey, I don't need anyone transferring out of here. I mean, I'm sure people will, but if we don't got a lot of shooters, so I'd like if he stayed. So getting
Yeah.
minutes will help that.
You're gonna have to get what's his name back? Freaking 7 foot dude. Let him shoot threes in the corner.
Just get Connor back.
Get Connor back. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what I was in the first half. I was like, how can these guys not shoot? Last year, our 7 footer could shoot threes.
Yeah.
I thought everybody shot threes these days.
Not anyone Muss is recruiting. He wants athletes, dude. And but hey, they won. And one thing about Muss is he always does figure it out. And here's the thing, like it that looked bad in the first half, but we're starting better than we did last year.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, last year we lost to Vanderbilt. So we're not doing that, at least not
We
yet.
should, yeah, we need to go back and listen to those again and be like,
Hear the
just,
despair.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure I was beside myself. Um, are you in your new baby room? Is that what that is?
Yeah, my office has been now converted to a baby room for the baby that's coming in 6 weeks. So we'll see where I'm recording this from now on. I don't know. I have another office that I can do it in, but it's a little ways from my house. So some days I'll be there. Some days I'll be finding a place in the house. We'll see.
It's a little bit hollow.
Well, there's not enough stuff in here yet.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
and you don't have carpet in there anymore or anything.
No, there
So
was carpet. I ripped it out and put flooring in. Yeah. So
I mean, like I said, it sounds a little bit. I don't know what it'll sound like on the recording, but and I'm not sure what I'm just in a closet, so
you're dead as crap, man. You got all kinds of stuff padding that thing up.
yeah. So, but yours is
Well,
yeah. I mean, you might you have to get some sound pan. Some can you buy cute pink stork baby sound
I
panels to
don't.
stick all over the walls?
I think once I get everything in here, I don't think it'll be as big a deal. There's gonna be a bunch of stuff in here, so.
Hmm.
But I don't know that. I don't think I'll be doing it from
Yeah,
here.
I was gonna say there'll be a baby in there at some point.
Yeah, I won't be doing it from here. I'll be doing it from my car. So, all right, man.
You have to
Well,
find a spot in your garage.
I guess so. Uh, there's plenty of stuff in there right now from this remodel. It's probably real dead in there. The next game at Auburn. So we'll see how that goes. Auburn coming off a loss.
They're not gonna like that.
Yep. So we'll see how it goes. We'll be back to break it down for sure, man. So I'll see you
Did you
then.
did you want to say anything about the Lady Razorbacks,
No,
or do you want to?
I went to the Lady Razorbacks game against uh LSU. They did not play well that game. We ended up losing. And
I mean,
then
LSU
when
is good.
they were good. We didn't shoot the ball very well, and
Mhm.
then we got killed on the glass. But then we went off to Kentucky and won. So since our last podcast, you won one, you lost one in SEC play, and that's not terrible. So I mean, they're
They
good. They're good. They're a team. I like Mike Neighbors. Mike Neighbors is like he's like the opposite of Eric Musselman, where Eric Musselman is like, if you don't play defense, you're not playing. And that's not Mike Neighbors, I'll tell you that. And Mike Neighbors, it seems I don't know who he probably has this, but he's like a football coach. It's like an offensive genius or something that really, really needs to have a really good defensive coordinator.
Mhm.
Because I just need to see like the defense get amped up. We need to do a better job on the glass. And I don't I think Mike Neighbors is a very good coach, but I don't think that's his thing. It's not how he motivates. So you might need, and maybe like I said, maybe he has someone like this. I don't know, but that's what it seems to me. With the Lady Razorbacks are the opposite of the men. Like when they win, they just fill it up, and when the men win, they d it up, and that is
Yeah,
different.
yeah. If Musselman was coaching that team, the number one starter all the time would be what's that girl's name that has
Oh,
the
Riley, right, like Riley
she's
Langerman, just be
basically
out
the
there. She'd be playing 40 minutes a game.
she's the female Jordan Walsh.
Yeah.
I mean, both in a little bit in affectation, but also in the way
Well,
they play.
she plays like Devo.
Yeah, I love when she's in there. She's one of the few girls that's always getting rebounds,
Mm-hmm.
always getting second
Always
chances.
trying, like always, and even when she doesn't get rebounds, always trying to get rebounds.
Yeah, you can tell she's not the biggest, most skilled, fastest player, but she tries real hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, we really owe LSU something. I was hoping that the girls would give avenge the guys, but we had took it on the chin both places. So
Yeah.
we owe.
Yeah. That's how it goes in the SEC. But it's all right. The nice thing about conference games is you get to play two of them. Well, at least
Yeah,
in
we'll
your
see
Western, your
Missouri
way
again
west,
in
and not that long.
3 weeks. I
Mm-hmm.
think they're like we play three ranked teams. No, it's Auburn and then Alabama and then Ole Miss, then
Yeah.
Missouri.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
It's
still,
tough, dude.
in a month, we got to play them twice in a month.
Auburn and
So
Alabama, and dude, and the Auburn game is tough because you're at Auburn, and Alabama's no joke, dude.
I know. When do we get? Who's bad? When do we get to play a bad team that we
Uh,
definitely are supposed to win?
well, we should. I mean, we'll be favorite. We should beat Ole Miss. You know, but let's see here. If you're looking at the schedule,
Didn't Ole Miss? Am I crazy? Did Ole Miss beat somebody?
well, I'm sure they beat somebody.
I know.
But um, let's see. You got at Auburn, you got home against Alabama, then you got at Vanderbilt, at Missouri, and then you're home against Ole Miss.
Hmm.
Then you got LSU coming in, then you're at Baylor, then you got Texas A&M coming in, at South Carolina, at Kentucky, Mississippi State at home, at Texas A&M, home against Florida, home against Georgia, at Alabama, at Tennessee, home against Kentucky. It's tough.
Dude, it's tough.
Stuff, bro.
There's a lot of potential losses in there.
Yeah, you gotta bring it every night, dude. In this league.
Yeah,
So.
man. Say a couple of Hail Marys for those boys' ankles and knees,
Yeah, and I like our chances against anyone in the SEC as long as we don't lose anyone else. I think we can beat any of those teams, anybody. I think we can beat anybody but we can't be doing any injuries. Not
Well,
anymore.
yeah, I mean, I agree. I do think that shooting thing is going to be an issue. Like, like I said, maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they'll keep practicing and they'll be able to shoot/pass, break down zones in a way where teams aren't as comfortable playing it, which is what needs to happen. But if teams are going to just come out in that freaking packed in the paint zone,
Well, some teams are going to be stubborn and not do it. Some teams are going to be like, we play this kind of defense and we don't change it. I mean, that's how coaches are. Some coaches only play zone and they don't care what you're doing. That's what they're going to play. Some coaches only play man, no matter what. Doesn't matter what you're doing. And some coaches are willing to mix it up based on what who they're playing. And there will be teams that come out and man because the coaches are just that's what they do and they're not going to change. Because also, if you've never played zone, it's also tough. I mean, like it's just tough if you don't play against zone very much. That's tough, but they'll get better at that if they see a bunch of it. But if you play man all year, practice no zone, and then this one, in 3 days they're like, "Hey, we're putting together a 2-3 zone to do that." That's not great either.
yeah, but zone is easier to play than man. I'm saying if you were throwing a,
but Missouri plays zone a lot. That wasn't just for us,
right? But what I'm saying is, it is if a team, and I mean, it's not easy to play zone if a team has an effective and well practiced strategy on how to break down a zone,
which we should start having.
Yeah, I hope that does start happening. But like as of right, the way they played in the first half, that's not hard to play zone. Because zone, I mean, like I said, it's less confusing than man because there's less switching.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, there's passing off and there's a lot of communication that needs to happen like that. But you just guard this area, and I feel like you could teach a group of people
there's a lot of knowing your spacing and stuff. I mean, you can I've put people in zones before and seen them jack it up bad. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I've coached some teams and stuff and tried to implement a zone with some guys that aren't used to it, and it's not good.
Yeah, I still think like if you took a bunch of novice players, though, zone would be easier to be effective. Not that they would be good at it, but they would be able to play a zone.
I don't, not that I don't think zone is easier to play, but I think man is easier to understand. It works like this: you guard that guy.
Yeah,
like zone is not like that.
That's
zone,
not actually how man works, though.
But if you're not zone, you get tempted if you're not used to it. Like there's so much trust involved in zone.
Yeah.
And you get tempted. And if you're not used to it, you will get tempted. You'll get out of position. Stuff will happen. I mean,
it's only hard though if people do what they're supposed to do again. It's not hard if
Yeah.
the zone. What I'm saying is zone is easy to play if the thing is you guard this area and then and just don't go out on the shooters. Like
Well, that
that's not
zone that
hard.
that that zone's ridiculous. Like,
Well, what I'm
yeah.
saying is it's not hard if what they do is they catch the ball, they
Hey, dude,
look at you,
Must ain't gonna let
and
teams
then
do
they
that.
shoot it.
They ain't gonna let them do that all year. Like, well, you're gonna see Pinion played 30 minutes a game if teams do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Well, I hope so.
Or a second Nick, if Nick Smith does ever come back, that'll end that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, that's the other thing is like Nick, we could use Nick Smith just because we could use a really quick ball handling. There's one thing about Black and all of our point guards is they're all long and it's great on defense, but we don't get a lot of like tight dribbling between players. You know what I mean? These guys are like, am I dribbling? That means I'm taking two big dribbles and then like pulling up and running someone over. There's not a lot of like probing guys. I mean,
yeah,
Devo does it a little bit, but like
yeah,
Black is like too big to get in
yeah.
between three players and just kind of dribble around and manipulate and come back out. Whereas I feel like,
Nick will do that. Yeah, I saw Nick do some of that.
you know,
Yeah,
so well, hopefully he will.
yeah. Right on, man. Well, I'll see you on Saturday, and
All right, dude.
hopefully talking about another Razorback win.
All right, dude.
All
See ya.
right, see ya.